Hello, welcome. So as part of this video, we are going to see how to implement RAG pattern by using Spring AI modules. So before going to see what is RAG model and how we are going to interact with your document using RAG, so we need to understand the basic things like what is RAG. So first we are going to see what is a RAG. So RAG mean the full form is Retrieval Augmented Generation in the sense. So RAG is basically it's AI technology which is mainly used for interacting with LLMs to retrieve the information by using the LLM default provided knowledge along with the additional knowledge or a latest information if you want to feed to the LLM models and which you want to use it for to give the answers for your questions. So in that case we can use for RAG. So RAG full form is Retrieval Augment Generation. So the main advantage over here is, so generally if you use for LLM models, so it will give the answers, so the based on the answers what is currently feeded or so far what is feeded. But now if you want to give additional information or contextual or up to date answers, so then you can use for RAG so that you can able to feed the latest or up to date data or information to your LLM models. So based on that it will try to use the latest information as well as the already feeded data. So by using these two data, so your models can able to give the answers based on the questions asked by user. So that's the main use case of RAG. So to implement this RAG, so we are going to use Spring AI. Also, we need LLMs. So, but now we to avoid the cost or API keys, we are going to use Ollama. So now, what is the Ollama? The second part is what is Ollama? So Ollama is mainly used to run LLM models like BERT or sentence BRT models locally without buying any API key. You can able to run any model in your machine by just installing the Ollama in your machine. So that's the main usage of Ollama. So by using Ollama, we no need to buy key or API from any cloud provider. So you can able to run all the LLMs locally from your machine. So that's the main usage or beauty of the Ollama. So that we are going to see how to install Ollama and how to run the models. So the next point is, so now we have a model and also we are going to use the additional data or additional document to feed to your models. So to store the additional data or up to date data into our database, so we are going to use a special database called vector database. So compared to traditional database, what's the main usage or difference of the vector database? So that we are going to see over here. So the vector database basically it will try to store the data in a high dimensional or multi-dimensional vector form, in the sense it will store the different variety of data like text, video, audio or any other kind of data into vectors in the sense in the format numbers. So that's the way we are going to use or convert the text or video or audio into the number base and we are going to store into the vector database. So once you store the database, so your AI model can able to search the similarity search of the data. So what we are looking for or what user is looking for, corresponding document it will fetch from the vector database and we are going to answer the query. So that's the main usage of vector database. So we can see over here, so there are 10 different types of vector database are available in market. So we can see there are some of the major database or frequently used database like Chroma, Pinecone and Milvus. So these are the some of the 10 uh, mainly used vector database are available. So as part of our example, what we are going to see one of the practical examples. So we are going to use a simple vector database. So that will use as in-memory database. It will act as a vector database. So that we are going to see it. Okay. So the next point is, so finally we need to see what is LLM. So this is the final point, we need to understand it. So the LLM is a large language model which is used in the RAG or AI model a patterns which is to generate the response based on the question asked by the user, and what is the pre-trained knowledge what's available currently it is having. It could be either retrieved or it could be external. So basically try to compare the a data what it's feeded already, or it will try to take the data from the external as well. So that's the beauty of the LLM models. So we are going to run these models with the help of Ollama, what we are going to install in our machine. So basically what it will do, it will improve the accuracy by integrating the a database to the LLM model, so that we can able to get the up-to-date data. It's not just whatever the data so far it's fed it. So we are going to add some additional or latest data into the vector database. So that way your model will collect the data from the both the sources from the vector databases and as well as the pre-trained data. So if you see the final practical example what we are going to implement over here, right? So this is the model we are going to implement it. So the first you can see there is a client which will pass the question to our AI framework. So the AI framework here currently we are going to use Spring AI module. So by default we'll try to look for the question answer related one into LLM model, and if it's not able to find, then it will try to look for the vector database, and it will try to use a semantic search or contextual data. So in that way it will try to fetch the data and corresponding document. It will keep with AI framework what we are trying to use it, and the response it file it will prepare and it will send back to the client. So that's the main uh, a flow diagram what we are going to build it. So we are going to use LLM models which is running currently in our local machine with the alpha Ollama, and we are going to use a simple vector database, so which will store the PDF or any kind of document, and which is having a multiple documents. So based on the user query or prompt, it will LLM will prompt the LLM will read the prompt and it will try to fetch the corresponding contextual data or contextual document, and it will try to use it. So this is the final architecture what we are going to build it. So let's see a practical example. So before implementing the practical example, so we should have a Ollama. So what is Ollama? We have already discussed it. Now we are going to see how to install it. So let me open the Ollama official website. So you can able to find this ollama.com URL in this video description. The first step is we have to install the Ollama. So once you open this ollama.com, go to download, we can see the three different flavors of the operating system it will support: Mac, Linux and Windows. So currently we are in Windows platform, so you can click over here Windows, and then you can able to download the Ollama software. But in my case I have already downloaded and already installed as well. So you can see the Ollama setup look like this, and you can install it. So once the installation is done, you can come here, you can verify the Ollama version. So what it will do, try to display what Ollama version currently it is deployed in your machine, it will display. In my case you can see over here 0.5.7 version is already installed it. So this is the first step: install the Ollama and verify the Ollama version. The second step is, so we should have the models. So we should have the models which we are going to use it. So if you want to see the different models what is available currently, we can see over here. So there is a different variety of models currently you can able to find it, or you can go to GitHub and then go down. We can able to see the all models which is currently it is available or it is supporting. So you can see there is different models are available, and the parameter size and the model size you can see over here. So in my case currently I have already downloaded, or some of the models are available. So if you see, right, so you can type this command Ollama space ls, it will try to display all the models what is currently available. So in my case you can see there are three models are available, but now we are going to use llama 3.2 model which is available, and its having size is around 2.0. So basically what I'm trying to say here, so we should have one of the model which we are trying to use it. So in our case we are going to use the Llama 3.2 model, and its size is 2 GB. So how to download this model? So it's very easy to download. If you see here Llama 3.2, so there is a command here, Ollama run 3.2. You can copy this command, you can come back over here. Let me copy it, come back over here, press enter. So in my case this Llama 3.2 is already present, so it will not download. In case if it is not there, it will try to download and it will install it. So once the download is completed, so then it's can able to answer your question. Okay. So now it's ready to answer your question. So that means your Ollama is running, so which we are going to use it. Okay, now let me go back to the second part. So the second part is we have to create a simple Spring Boot application with all necessary dependencies what we are trying to use it. So that is the next step. So to create a Spring Boot application, I'm trying to use the start.spring.io. So I'm going to use Java Maven 3.4.2. Let me give here com.test. I'm going to give here artifact name as spring a-rag. So this is my model name. I'm going to use it. So package name, so let it be rag. So I'm going to use jar and 23. So now the second part is the dependencies. So what I'm going to use it, I'm going to use a web model because I'm going to write a simple REST service, and then I'm going to use another one is Ollama. So because I'm going to run the models locally with the help of Ollama, so that's the reason I'm going to use these are the two dependencies. If you want to see in the dependency list, so you can come over here, so we can see the starter web of the Spring and Ollama, all necessary a dependencies. So these are the things we need it. Once this is ready, you can able to generate the project. So you can see over here your project is ready. You can unzip this one. So this is your project. So you can import this project into your Eclipse. So this is my Eclipse. I'm going to import this one. Finish it. So now the project is imported. Spring A rag. So we are going to see the dependencies, what it is required. We are just verifying the dependencies. The Spring Boot starter web and Ollama and all necessary supporting a framework. So but we are going to deal with one of the PDF document. So the PDF, our own personal PDF, we are going to use it to read and to generate the answers based on my own PDF. So that's the reason to handle the PDF. So I'm going to use one of the PDF related dependency is PDF box example. So this is the additional dependency. I'm going to add it. So this is the one of the additional dependency. I'm going to add it, the PDF example, which can be used to read the PDF and to store the PDF content into vector database as a documents. So that's the reason we are going to use this dependency org.apache.pdf box. So now we are going to write some more additional controller and resources, all those things over here. So let me write it. I have written the code in the background. One of the controller, you can see over here rack controller, and also I have written some of the models called chat request and response. So controller I have written and chat request response model. So let me show you some of the properties file what I have updated. So we can see over here, so we can see the properties I have updated Spring app name, and the you can see another one is Ollama base URL. So this is optional. Basically, it will try to look for the Ollama which is running currently in your local machine under the port 11434. So if you see in my machine, it's already running its Ollama. So that means it's running it. So it will take it, but it's optional to mention the host and port number. And the second one is which model you are using it, so that you need to mention over here. So like I was showing in the before, right? So currently in my machine we have Llama 3.2 model is already running it. It's available. So that we are going to use it, Llama 3.2. And also by default the Spring or Ollama embedding is disabled. So we have to enable it. And we are using embedding. So in the sense we are converting the document into vector vectors to store into the vector database. So that is called embedding, and for that which model you are using it, so that we have to mention over here. So embedding model in the sense we are trying to convert the a PDF into embeddings in terms like a vectors in numbering format. So that is called embedding, and for that purpose which model you are using it. So I am trying to use the Llama 3.2. The final one is, so this is one of the simple PDF what I have created it to understand some of the um, a data what I have prepared specific to my personal, it's related to my friends and their information. So this information is not available in the internet or Ollama or any model don't have this data. So I just written a simple a PDF about my friends. Let me open it. So this is one of the PDF I have written it. So you can see there is a Ram, Murali, Manu. So these are the three different friends staying in the New York and working for different companies and their birthdays and their running speed 10 kilometer 811 and their salary and what car they are owning it and where they are going holidays, what is their favorite holiday spot. So in India, Bangalore, some of the place they mentioned it, and so what kind of food they will eat. So these are some of the personal data of my friends I have updated over here, and the same document I kept inside the resource under data, so that I have referred in my application.properties. So this is the your personal document. So the main goal is here we are trying to read our personal documents, and based on that we are trying to extract the answers for the questions asked by the end user. So that's the main intention we are going to implement with the help of rug pattern. So in this case I'm trying to use the simple PDFs or sample PDF what I am trying to use it, which is having my personal data, and that reference is I kept in application.properties. So now this is about resource. Now go back to the controller. So this very simple controller I've written it. So let me remove this unused imports. So this is the controller I have written it, and inside the controller I have added one of the method called post construct and post method. So what is this? Will do post construct. So this post construct, once the objects are initialized, I am trying to create a simple vector store with the help of embedding vector model. And what it will do, it will try to read my own PDF. So PDF stripper, I'm trying to use it, and I'm trying to take the text from the PDF, and then I'm trying to create a list of documents from that, and finally I am trying to store the document list into a vector store of simple vector store which will use an in memory, but it will act as a vector store for us. Okay, so that's the way we are trying to store a PDF documents into a simple vector store, and then that will be useful for LLM model to give the answers. So and then finally we are going to see a simple called a template, so which is useful to replace the question or documents which we are fetching from the vector store based on the question what you asked and which is matching to a similarity search, and then we are going to fetch the documents and we are going to keep it over here a document. And this is a simple plain text like what kind of information we are trying to give back to the user, so that we are giving or informing to the LLM model. If you don't know anything, then it will say I don't know. So this can be customized. Okay, so what I'm trying to write here, say for instance user is asking the question and it's nowhere available in the document, then it will say I don't know. If you want to customize the message, but it can be customized as per your wish. Okay, so that's about the post construct model. It will try to read the PDF and it will try to store the documents into vector store or vector database. So that's about the post construct. So the next method is post mapping, a simple RAG URL mapping I mentioned over here, and then we are taking a user query or query request, one of the model I have created it. So it's having a query. Let me show you the query request. So this is the query we are expecting from the user, and that query we are trying to read it, and we are sending into vector database or vector store with similarity query, and also we are trying to get the response from the vector store, and we are trying to get the relevant documents we are forming into the prompt what user is trying to ask, and then we are comparing it, and finally we are getting the system generated augment. From that augment we are trying to get the response. So this is the response. So this is the way we are going to see here, retrieval augmented generation. So we are trying to retrieve the documents which is related to user is asking question. So once you get the relevant documents, we are trying to generate the augment from the documents. So augments. So once you have the system message from this augment, and then finally we are trying to retrieve the relevant answer from the document what we are retrieved it based on the query. So from that finally we are going to get the response, and we are giving the response back to the user. So that's the way we can able to get the relevant document from the a list of documents which is available from the vector store. From that we are trying to get the relevant answer, and we are giving back to the user. So this is a very simple way we can able to build REST client, and we can able to store the PDF document into the vector store and trying to retrieve and the corresponding document and generate the response back to the user. So to test this one, what I'm going to use it, I'm going to run this application, and we are going to verify the response, how it's going to respond to us. So just to validate it, so in the post construct method I am trying to display the entire PDF content just for our verification, and it's started resource loading into the vector database. Once the resource loading is completed, we can able to see one of the a log resource loading done. So that means the resource is completely loaded into vector database, because it will take some time, because it is need to create documents based on the text what we got it from the PDF, then it will be storing. So let me restart it. It's already running the port, so let me reload it again. So now it is reloading the content. It will take couple of seconds or minute, because it required to create the documents and it need to be stored into the vector store. So we just need to wait for till that time, then we are good to serve the request response model. Yes, now we can see the resource is loaded completely into the vector store, and the Tomcat port is ready to use, and we can see the documents what is stored over here. So now to test this one, I'm going to use a simple SOAP UI which is already installed in my machine. Based on that, we are going to fire the request with the help of post query, and from that we are going to see the response. So this is the SOAP UI. Let me close it. I'm creating a simple project called REST. So I'm going to give my application URL. So this is a simple project. I'm going to use a post method because here we are going to send an object and query. So this is a query. So this query, if you see the REST client, so we have a query here, query request over here, and here we have a two parameters, query and conversation ID. So conversation ID, we can ignore it. We are not using it, but if you want to use a query request, we can use it. Otherwise, it's up to you. So I need to pass the query. What query I'm going to pass it? So let me see the document, the PDF what I got created over here. So I'll just see the PDF. I can see the PDF contain my three friends related information. Is their names, company, and their date of birth, their running speed, some salary, some their food favorites, and where they are from, and currently where they are staying it. So these are some of the personal details I just kept over here. So let me ask a question. So this is the RAG a method I'm going to call it. So I'm going to ask who is Ram. So I'm going to ask a simple question, who is Ram? So let me fire the request. Come back over here, say request received. So it will take some time based on your a system hardware capacity to process your request or to retrieve the document and to retrieve the corresponding answer based on the retrieved document. So let me go back to our SOAP UI. Still, yes. So finally we can see we have received the response. So we can see who is the Ram. So it's saying Ram is the best friend living in New York. So he works for TCX. So that's what our document says. So let me ask another question. What is Ram's birthday? When is Ram birthday? Let me ask a simple question. When is Ram birthday? Let me fire the question. So basically it is trying to read the document and corresponding documents it is retrieving and it is responding to us. So that means so the RAG model is working and the document reading and it's giving the response back to us. So we can see here it's giving an answer saying that Ram birthday is 20th Jan 1985. Let me verify it in the document. So we can see the Ram birthday is Jan 20th 1985. So let me ask another question. Mm, what is whose birthday is in same month? If you see here the similarity, you can see here Ram and Murali. So their birthday is same month. So let me ask the question and we can see what answer is good. Whose birthday is same month? So basically, I'm asking a question whose birthday is in same month. So let me see the answer. What's we are going to get it back. So now, as per the document, we know the Ram and Murali birthday is coming in Jan 20th. But year is different, but date of dated month is same. So let's see what it's going to respond to. See over here, it's saying that Ram and Murali have the same birth date, Jan 20th. So that means it's can able to understand the document and it's able to generate the answer. So let me ask a final question. What is RAM and who is having whose salary is more? Or let me ask a question where what is RAM favorite holiday place? So I'm asking a question. what is Rom favorite holiday place? So if you see the document, we have one of the line. So all used to go KPC Layout holiday time were located in Bangalore. So they used to spend some of the time in Bangalore. So though they are staying in New York. So let's see what it's going to respond us. See, now it's not able to answer this question, but let me ask a question. So this is also one of the scenario in case as per our at prompt configuration, if you see over here, so in case if you don't know the answer, if it is not able to find, it's saying that I don't know. So this is also one of the scenario. Okay, let me ask another question. Who is the fast runner? And let me send the request. So we can see we got the response for who is the fast runner, and it's saying that Murali can run 11 km per hour, making him is the fastest runner among his friends. So that means as per the document, so we can see Murali is the one running at 11 km per hour speed. So that means we are getting a relevant answer. So this is the way you can able to implement the ROG pattern with the help of Spring AI by using the a PDF or personal document. What is we feed our application. So I think that's all about this video. If you like the video, you can subscribe the channel for more subsequent updates, and thank you so much.